Son, I'm going to die. Hey everyone, this is part two of my dad's death story. Um, if you haven't seen the first one, please watch it so you understand the context for this video and the next. But like I've said in the previous video, my dad, uh, I was there through his whole, from the beginning to the end of his cancer fight, his cancer battle. But I was a little bit too close to that journey because I really think that it kind of traumatized my life, especially in my younger years, leading up to adulthood, and a lot of the stuff that I went through, and even now still kind of going through a little bit. But light, there's been light at the end of the tunnel. I've definitely grown a lot since then, and I'll continue to do so. But when I was young, this is 2001 still. My dad passed away in 2002, but uh, the second pivotal moment in that long, actually it wasn't a long journey. My dad died pretty quick. He died in January 2002. I can't remember exactly what month in 2001, but it wasn't that long. But anyway, this story was this moment. I remember me and my brother were just playing in the living room and watching TV, I think. And then I remember my dad calling us into the bedroom. We went in there and he sat down. And I remember he had a hard time kind of really starting to open up about what's happening. It was the first time we ever saw my dad vulnerable. Never seen him cry, never seen him, get like emotional about anything. But he was started to ramble a lot. Like he didn't really make sense. And I think at that time, being 9, and I think my brother was 7 at the time, 7 or 8 years old, we didn't really understand what was happening. We were just kind of like, we were frozen there, trying to make sense of what he was saying. But he kind of just started rambling for a bit about life and stuff like that. And then I knew, the shit got real when he had one tear started coming down. Never seen my dad cry ever. And he really wasn't like he was just tough, man, like tough old school. He had one tear start coming down. And that shocked me and my brother like so much. This guy was the strongest person I ever knew. And then he had his like little lover. He started wiping his tears. Yeah, he started wiping his tears there. And then like from there, like I remember he goes to me, he goes, "Son, like I'm going to die. There's nothing that," he's just kind of like telling me like there's nothing that can be done. And all he wants for me and my brother is to like, we have to be strong for our mom and for our sisters. So then he just like grabbed me and him and he just like hugged us, just hugged us tight. For some reason, this is the part that like I never really understood, but like for the longest time I didn't really understand. Like I actually thought it was a bad thing. But he grabs me by my shoulders and like kind of pushes me back, and he's like, "Whatever happens, don't cry at my funeral. You have to be strong. You got to be tough." Like like just very very old school. Um, I thought now that I'm older, and especially the times that we live in, I think that's actually a bad thing. But I understand why he did it. He was just trying to prepare me for the role of being the eldest and being the like the man of the family from that point on. So for the longest time, like, I kind of resented him doing that because I like that's like the last thing that you should be telling your child. Like you just told him he's gonna die, and I think there's other ways of more important things that you gotta say to him. But I understood it. I definitely understood what he was trying to do. But yeah, that whole moment, me and my brother have never spoken about it ever. I don't know why. Maybe something that we should talk about, but my brother was always and continues to be like the stronger emotionally of us two. But that moment is so clear to me even now. It was it played out like a movie scene, still remember him sitting on the bed, me sitting on, I'm on the right, my brother's on the left. And yeah, man, some memories don't leave you, eh? Yeah. Yeah. But those things, maybe because of just the way that I think and the way that my brain processes stuff, those memories like it's a reoccurring dream for me in my life of that moment. I've had that dream since I was a kid. Um, yeah, I remember his voice. I remember the way he was expressing, his anger mixed in with sadness, and I remember this part, like when we walked out of the, me and my brother just walked out. My brother walked out like it was nothing, because he was still pretty young. I think 7 or 8 years old. I remember I walked out, and before I grabbed the doorknob to close the door. I looked inside. I looked at him before I went outside, and he just looked like so like sad. And he turned his head and he looked at me, and then I just closed. I just tried to like not look back and close the door. So whatever happened in there afterwards, I don't really know. What he was thinking. Was he crying or? But yeah, man, it's real, man. Real life. When the real life hits you that hard at a young age, it's been tough. So that's my second part of this story. If you enjoy this, please leave a comment. I will be breaking down on the aftermath of my dad's death and his battle with cancer. So thank you very much for watching.